Okay, so when we look at gang stalking, right, why are their goals what they are? And it pretty much paints the picture pretty clearly. So in my case, you know, they wanted to change the way I dress to make it so it's less divinely masculine, less appealing, that the overall image of me would be less divinely masculine, less appealing, less handsome, less martial art, transcendent martial art looking. Okay. They wanted to change my voice, my image, to make it so I seem gay, weird, evil, so on and so forth. Okay, change my shape. They wanted to cast doubt on my arguments. Now, let's look at the world, okay? Why do I know that the vast majority of people will believe me right away? Because in the last 20 years, so if say you're 10 years old or over, you probably have noticed the changes occurring. You probably saw the transition when you're like 15 years old or something. Okay, so the last 20 years, women have lost their appeal. Their appeal is probably cut in half. Republican women became more racist and petty. Democratic women and Republican alike became more gender neutral. They became like George Jetson with a wig and lipstick, with a gender neutral look. They put points of references out there to kill it for people. They made it known for decades leading up to that there was large groups of people that wanted to destroy heterosexual desire. Their stated goal as feminists, for example, and LGBT people was to destroy heterosexual desire. We saw the Greek societies in college, Greek frats, sororities, Freemasons with their kind of gender neutral apron wearing, right? Aprons are kind of female like. Their dress is effeminate. Some Freemasons came out and highlighted that there's a gay agenda in Freemasonry. Okay. You see their interviews on the internet. Um, Also, we see the Club of Rome and the gay roundtable group, right? We see these old kind of guys that molest kids in the church. So there's this massive kind of gender neutral network of people. Some of them are even swingers, right? If you would have heard that when you're younger, you might have doubted it a little bit. You're like, swingers, that's fucking, that's crazy, right? They're sharing each other's wives and stuff. That literally goes on. I go as far as to say it's harder to believe if you first hear it that there's swingers going on than it is to believe that there's this massive network of LGBT people and gender neutral people kind of semi compartmentalized who collaborate and work in concert to make things the way they are. So females have lost their appeal to a large degree. It's less than half of what it was. Okay, when I was younger, females were very female-like. They were very, a lot of them were very professional. They dressed a certain way. They had appeal. Now they have this kind of gender-neutral witch look. They kind of are sarcastic. Very, very often they're sarcastic or they have a crazed occult look. Okay, their genes have been interfered with. Who we perceive them to be dating takes away from their appeal. Let's face it, females start dating Pee Wee Herman and politicians, okay, and greasy players and nasty, orgy type of LGBT people. We do not find them as appealing. Okay, if you do disgusting things, and I shouldn't have to explain why this is, we all more or less understand. Okay, if you do disgusting things, you date disgusting people, your appeal is reduced. So between their change of look and the types of people who have been reproducing and everything that's been going on in the last 20 years or so, okay, females have drastically reduced their appeal. Drastically. So why am I saying this? Okay, well, let's look at the type of world they're trying to build, right? The liberal progressive eugenicists and the neocons are basically the bill that rings the loudest in politics and in social engineering. And neoconservatives are basically LGBT run liberals turned conservatives to aggressively push the Western agenda. Okay, it goes something like this. They say, well, if you're gonna worship us and our LGBT Greco-Roman deities and clubs, then welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. But if you're going to complain about our psychotic system and narcissists running things and all these psycho COs and CEOs and so on and so forth, then white supremacy, pal, and fuck you. You'll find that path is not so preferable. Okay, it's that kind of thinking, and it's expressed in the political paradigm and in the corporate agenda that is in both major parties and also in the libertarian grouping as well. Pretty straightforward. No other way it could be, right? You know, you look at the way, I seen Tupac looking like a Jew. Okay, I'm probably gonna use that picture. I'm meaning to use that picture for a while. Tupac looking like a Jew. Okay, they edited his picture. Martin Luther King, they edited his picture. They edited people's pictures. They look different. Celebrities have changed. You see the before and after. Every once in a while, one of them looks more hot than they used to, but most of them, they look weird. They start gaining weight. They're skinny. They're pale. They have some weird plastic surgery looking face. That was going on to a degree before, but during this time, the older celebrities look weird as hell. They look like crazed witches. Okay, some kind of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, some kind of I'm bewitched, not necessarily a wart-faced, big-nosed witch, right? But a weird kind of airhead witch, kind of liberal airhead witch in its various forms. Okay, and that is not preferable to a female with sense, who dresses with style, who's reasonable, who has a logical dating scale. When you look like an airhead witch and you date like a groupie-ass dumb bitch, okay, you're not exactly the most sought-after wife on the fucking planet, or potential wife on the planet. It's no other way it could be. If people can understand the differences in cars, more or less, you think they don't understand the differences in females? I never met a guy who's more concerned with the differences in cars than the differences in females. They have lost their appeal, and people haven't missed it for a second. So their model reflects their mentality and their desire to make it so that certain frat types of people are more accepted. Okay, they say, how can the kind of skinny, nerdy frat person seem more normal, seem empowered even? When you try to empower sororities and fraternities in college, okay, Dumb and Dumber type guys with a college degree who are the alumni of sororities with stupid, cheesy names, right? Everyone knows that fraternities and sororities are stupid, corny, cheesy, shallow geeks. They are foolish and contemptible. In their own language, in their own dictionary that nerds made, they describe nerds as foolish and contemptible. My goal here isn't to insult nerds, but it's to highlight why what they're doing is so stupid, it's not good for them either. It's like when someone buys an expensive outfit that looks dumber than hell, and they're like, fuck you, and they get mad, and their friends start defending them or something. That's pretty much the situation. What they've purchased with their children's souls, with their souls, is the stupidest thing in human history. They look like complete oppressors, complete assholes. Okay, Bezos and Musk. These guys look like the most masculine and sensible people that ever lived. No, they look like fucking idiots. They look like clowns. They look like dumb fucks. And it doesn't help them to sabotage people. If you look like a dumbass and you're ruining the world, if you beat your fucking wife and say, well, now she doesn't look so hot either now, does it help you? No. When you oppress the poor and say, well, the poor are more fucking weird than ever before, does it help you? No. People see what's going on. It's not the move here. But they continue to do it. And they've done it past the point of no return, but there's still the lesser and better path to consider. What is a better way to proceed? They need to stop immediately. They need to create fair economic, social, and political systems. Because at the end of the day, when people who are deserving of those positions in corporations, especially science-related corporations, who are allowed to operate effectively and freely without the boundaries of geek and white and Jew and LGBT supremacy and token minority supremacy and social club supremacy, frat supremacy, they create a better world. So the rich person, some rich geek, okay, I'll go as far as, so let's use Bezos and Musk. No offense to them, they've made themselves great examples here. They're better off being 100,000s in a society that makes sense, with a fulfilling world where there's a lot of hot chicks and healthy women who have sense to date, and not billionaires where there's only nonsensical, fair weather pigeon sluts, okay, and fucking less attractive females who are too stupid to do the right thing. That kind of a world is not okay. And the accompanying dumb fucking assholes, okay, who allowed for this world to be this way and didn't stand firm and say, this is what they're doing, we want them to stop, this is the solution. The males who failed to be men, foolish and contemptible cowards, it is not preferable. They need to stop immediately. For themselves, for their kids, for dating, for the movies, for music. No matter how much technology you use, we're going to use technology to determine who the sports stars are. We see through it, it's dumber than shit. We use technology to make our geek-ass kids seem like rappers and musicians and the coolest stars and entertainers ever. We see through it, it's dumber than shit. We use technology and our weird futurism and our weird sense of art to social engineer and design the cities. We see through it, it's dumb, it's cruel, it's sick, it's stupid as shit. Now look at what the potential paths are at this point. Yes, you've cut your offspring off from God irreversibly, okay? But you can still make a more logical planet for them to live and have some semblance of human dignity and self-respect, some semblance of enjoyment. Not this weird geeking hooked to a machine, giddy cocaine head fucking nonsense and the dumb fucks who are blurred. We can't tell who's on cocaine and who isn't these days because everyone's acting like a dumb fuck.